Brought to you by Penguin.
The Garden Party and Other Stories by Katherine Mansfield, read by Bonnie Wright.
If you're coming to this Penguin classic for the first time, then we'd recommend that you skip the introduction for now and return to it later, as it contains details of the plot. Please skip forward to Chapter 1 now, if you'd rather not listen to the introduction yet.
Introduction. Fables and fairy tales are age-old and used to be passed around by word of mouth. But short stories are a modern invention and reflect something of the loneliness of the acts of writing and reading. With the modernist movement in the early years of the 20th century, the form took on a particularly obsessive character, and writers like Katherine Mansfield and James Joyce and D.H. Lawrence made short stories into intensely crafted and evocative objects on the page, sometimes with nearly no plot at all in the conventional sense. Katherine Mansfield put even more into the story form than her contemporaries, however, since it was really her only form. She sometimes regretted this. She joked that Jane Austen's novels made modern episodic people like me look like very incompetent ninnies, and said to an old friend, sadly, at the end of her life, that all she'd produced were little stories like birds bred in cages. But her very dissatisfaction feeds into her stories and gives them a special edge, and in any case her pleasure in the form is clear. She felt at home in it, being so little at home anywhere else. She left well-to-do New Zealand society behind in 1908, at the age of 19, but she remained something of an outsider in English literary circles. Her contacts with people she met were eager, tense, competitive and mutually mistrustful. Most women in this world were helpmeets, or patrons, or muses, or mistresses, not artists in their own right, as she wanted to be. And even in literary Bohemia, the old social distinctions died hard. She was a colonial, and her banker father was a self-made man, so that she fitted all too well into a certain ready-made snobbish stereotype. Provincial trade. It's possible to recapture something of the impact she made on English sensibilities by looking at her relations with the one major woman writer she knew well, Virginia Woolf. Their on-off friendship was marked by conflicting feelings of alienation and intimacy. A diary entry by Woolf for 1917, after she and Leonard had had Mansfield to dinner, reads, "We could both wish that one's first impressions of K.M. was not that she stinks like a well-civet cat that had taken to street walking. In truth, I'm a little shocked by her commonness at first sight, lines so hard and cheap. However, when this diminishes, she is so intelligent and inscrutable that she repays friendship. Even if you make allowance for Woolf's habitual private savagery, this passage shows what a powerful physical presence Mansfield had. Pioneering Mansfield scholar and biographer Anthony Alpers was puzzled by Woolf's overreaction. Katherine, he said in his 1980 Life, liked expensive French perfume, and dressed very well for that matter. Perhaps the Woolfs thought it vulgar to wear scent at all. Alpers concluded that it must have been Mansfield's passion for the life of the senses that offended Woolf's sensitive nose. He was putting it too mildly. That civet reference is to the secretions of the musk glands of a cat, once upon a time an ingredient for making scent. Woolf was probably thinking of Shakespeare's As You Like It, where Bawdy Touchstone explains, Act 3, Scene 2, that sweet-smelling courtiers who use civet aren't as clean as they seem, because civet is of a baser birth than tar, the very uncleanly flux of a cat. Put the implications together, and Woolf is saying, with a sort of fascinated disgust, that Mansfield is like a tomcat marking out its territory, and at the same time a she-cat on heat. And of course the social and sexual messages are mixed up too, so that the lines of her personality seem hard and cheap, yet in the next sentence she's transformed into someone intelligent and inscrutable, a new kind of aloof and attractive cat, who has an...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?